All right, there it is. So Thursday, we arrive on the 25th of April, we arrive at Pioneer High School. There, Getaway Travels, which is a local Ann Arbor-based bus company. We've taken them to band camp, we've taken them to Montreal, we've taken them all over the place. They're bonded, insured, and have really good buses. We didn't take them to band camp this year for just not enough buses that were available, but we've taken them all over the place, and that's what we're traveling with. We will leave for Toronto at 3:30 in the afternoon. We are going to go across a border. We'll talk about crossing an international border. And come on down, folks. There's chairs everywhere. Don't stand in the back because then people will think you ever. Come on in. Come on in and find a seat. We're going to have to cross the border. Every kid has to have a certified, raised, sealed copy of their birth certificate. Please don't send your first and original one, because things can happen on tour, but you need a raised copy of your birth certificate. You'll know what I mean by the stamped raised copy that you get from the health department. Right? So you'll need to have a stamped raised copy because they're going to go through processing. We arrive in we're probably going to go across the Blue Water Bridge. We'll cross the Blue Water Bridge, we'll pull over, and then each child will have to get off the bus and go through processing. We all get off together. There's this nice little room we all walk through. We meet customs. We have to have all that documentation. They put us back on the bus. They do the next bus. They put us back on the bus. The next one, they put us back on the bus. If you are over 18 or a chaperone, you must have a passport, and it must not expire within 6 months. So if you're a chaperone or you're turning 18 when we're there, you must have a passport. Or an enhanced driver's license or a passport card. I have a passport card, so it gets me across. Okay? So we're going to cross, I'm assuming we're going to cross the Blue Water. It's the most convenient, it's got the best control. And then we're going to head to Toronto. We are staying downtown. There's so many reasons I want to stay downtown, but it's easiest access to stuff, and we're not commuting in to get stuff downtown. And we used to do the same thing in New York. I stayed downtown as opposed to commuting from New Jersey. First of all, no, I don't want to stay in New Jersey. Second of all, commuting in there's all kinds of things that can transpire. Going in on the 401 or 402, yes, they're massive, huge highways, and they have massive, huge accidents, and you can be stuck on it for a real long time, which we don't want. So we're staying downtown. One of the other things we got. Come on, Bessie. Come on, Bessie. Come on. All right. Technology. So, thank you. So, we're going to be there and we're going to travel right to our hotel and stay there that particular time. Two things. We have private security guards that monitor our children. I'm not thinking your kids are going to do anything wrong. And in fact, in many cases, when there are other school groups staying with our groups, particularly Italy, Italy students in New York City, they try to get to our students because they want to meet Americans. It was interesting. So the security guards kept the Italian. What were they? They were
the model UN.
Model UN.
Italian
and they were model something. But yeah, they really liked our boys a lot. It was fun. It was fun to keep them off our floor. But we have security guards for that. I will tell you how I process security. The kids' rooms are going to get one knock. And then if my knock comes, then we come in and you call your parents from there. With me saying you're keeping everybody awake. Sleeping at night is super important. Like hydration and like good nutrition, making sure kids get a good night's sleep is super important. So we hire security guards. Ms. Littlefors and I also need to sleep, so we don't monitor hallways. And if you're a chaperone, you're lucky enough to go as a chaperone, we want you to sleep at night as well. So that's the reason that we hire licensed bonded security guards. All right, let's go to the next day. All right. One of the other great things about staying in a downtown hotel is, and this happened when we were in New York, they gave us like bag breakfasts, and it wasn't the greatest, but we actually gave us something. They have a full buffet for the kids to eat in the morning in our own space, which is massive in terms of its easiness, right? Every kid gets attendance in the morning. The chaperones go in and wake them up, make sure they're all up. Every kid gets attendance to make sure they eat. We also watch, make sure they eat. And then from there we go to the World Museum in Ontario. From there we go to Toronto's Chinatown, which is lovely if you've never been there. And they have really good tea. Really good tea. I can't find this kind of state. And it's a place to go. Then we're also going to go to Eaton Center. Eaton Center is downtown Toronto's hugest kind of shopping extravaganza area. It's kind of an enclosed mall. Toronto, like Montreal, gets really cold, really bitter, and right now I think there's an ice storm happening there, and so they get all this wonderful weather, so they get a chance to be inside, and so there's this big indoor mall area for kids to shop in that particular area. We want them to do that. Then we go to Little Canada, which is near the Eaton Center, and gets a chance to explore all the stuff that's part of that. That night we're going to go to visit the CN Observatory Tower, which is really cool. It sits above the baseball arena that's right there. That's, if you've never seen that arena, it's really kind of cool. They get a chance to see a 360 of Toronto that afternoon and that evening. We're going to go to dinner at the Hot House Cafe, and that night we're going to see Les Mis at the Princess of Wales Theatre. It is a fabulous production and getting rave reviews. And if you've never seen Les Mis professionally, it is arguably one of my favorite shows to see, and I've seen a ton. I've seen Miss Saigon, I've seen Rent, I've seen Hamilton, I've seen a ton. And this is the gateway drug for musicals if you've never seen Les Mis. It's got such a great storyline. It's not all sunshines and butterflies, but it's got a great message. It's got a great acting. It's got one of the best Broadway soundtracks there is. When Les Mis came out and Phantom came out, I was a young band director, and they reinvigorated Broadway, those two productions. And so they're still very popular, very great. And the 20, I don't know, some long anniversary happened like 4 or 5 years ago, and everybody was singing around everywhere. Do you guys know who Colm Wilkinson is? So Colm Wilkinson was the original Jean Valjean. He was also supposed to be the Phantom. So if you go watch the movie of Les Mis, he's now the angel that comes. Fabulous singer. I've seen him live. That's great. So you'll love the kids will love Les Mis. That night, we put the kids to bed. We get up in the morning. By the way, lunches are almost always on the kids' own. And the reason we do that is because if we're in Eaton Center, we have to get everybody together to find a restaurant that can fit everybody, as opposed to having to just stop and grab something to go to eat. Right? So at lunchtime, kids are going to be spaces that we tend to do that, especially when we're out about in town. The next morning, get to have breakfast, and so this is the new thing that's changed. And Ms. Ellen and I can talk about this. We've reached out to one of my dearest friends and her colleagues at a school in Kitchener, Ontario.
So Eastwood School in Kitchener, Ontario. It's her name's Lauren Helmer, and she basically does my job and is a pretty cool person. You guys really don't love her. She is just a fantastic band director, fantastic human being. She does a community band just like Mr. Leach does. And it's a great music program that she's a part of and conducts. And so we were talking with her, we're taking this Toronto trip. Mr. Leach was discussing with her, like, hey, can we collaborate in some way? And a collaboration along with members of the Toronto Symphony, perhaps, and say LaToya Webb from Laurier.
Yep, so Wilfrid Laurier University is in Kitchener, Ontario. It's one of the biggest music schools for all of Canada. And the band director there is named Matt. He's also a good friend of mine, but he is the Ontario Band Director of the Year and a good friend and a fabulous musician. So we would get together and do a concert, which all of you are welcome to attend. It's at Wilfrid Laurier's Performance Hall, and then each of us are going to perform a couple songs. They're going to perform a couple songs. Their orchestra may be performing, and then we'll do a combined concert with all the kids on stage together with one piece of music. I'm going to probably either have Aaron or Lauren or somebody conduct this better than me, and we'll get a chance to have them spend all the time together and get a chance to meet these kids. They're going to go out and have a dinner together with the kids that while we're in Kitchener-Waterloo. I have also reached out to two really good friends of mine who are members of the Toronto Symphony Orchestra, and if they're in town, and both of them have said, hey, if we're in town, we'd love to come up, and they'll do master classes with the kids. LaToya Webb, who was with me we were fellows at the H. Robert Reynolds Institute of Conducting at the Midwest Clinic, so she knows about what goes on at Pioneer High School, and then the director of music at Laurier is actually taking my job that I conduct in the summertime in Canada, so she wants to also work with the kids. So we're going to try to make sure we have those two, along with two members of the Toronto Symphony Orchestra. If they're in town, they'll also come and spend some time at least talking to the kids about what life is like as a professional musician. The principal French horn and the assistant principal trombone player are both good friends of mine, and they may be coming as well. They just have to see if it's in their schedule. From there, after the concert, we're heading back into Toronto, and having a dinner in theater at Medieval Times. Do y'all know what Medieval Times is? So it's this cool jousting-y, you go into this big arena, you eat with your hands, there's all this big show that's you cheer for your knight. It's really kind of a cool thing. And the students from Lauren's group also want to come join us. So we may be going to the Medieval Times with them as well. And then so we're done with that night, which looks going to be master classes, lunch, and a concert at Laurier University. And then we head back down to Toronto for that night.
There you go. Look at
you. And the next morning, we're going to get up bright and early, feed the kids again, and then head to one of the nature's wildest places. We're going to go to Niagara Falls. And if everything is open and everything's great, we might do Made in the Mist. We'll see. It's one of the most powerful, amazing experiences kids can go. You drive a boat, right? It just depends on the weather and how hard winter is. We're supposed to have a mild winter. Is this La Nina or whatever it is? Onion? El Niño, yeah, whatever. So we're hopefully have a mild winter, and then we'll be able to go into the horseshoe, which is really amazing. Have any of you ever done it? Is it cool? And loud. It's really loud. All right. And then we're going to head back, go to Skywheel, spend some time in Niagara, and then head back to home. That's our itinerary. Are there any questions about the itinerary? I know I had a hand in the back. I'm sorry to catch it right away, but there was a question in hand somewhere. Nobody? Not on Niagara? Okay, great. Oh, go. I got two. Go.
So the kids can't use a passport?
Yes, they can use a passport if they have one.
That was my question.
Yep, passports are always, yeah, that's the one thing that's universal.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, oh, I did that right? Look at me. Oh, that's it. I know. All right. Things that if we are agreed to go, and tonight we'll give you an opportunity to vote. It's going to be online, so you will need your phone. If we agree to go, parents must complete all these forms. We are going to collect them because we have to send them as a package with an alphabetical list, including all of your signatures that you attended this meeting, or you met with our tour representative and got the same information that I'm giving to you, along with this very famous slide deck, saying yes, you agree and you understand all the district protocols. So you'll need to have the parents' notification, the notice of consent, and the communication protocol from the Annabelle schools, and that needs to be done by December 1st.
Gotcha.
Right? All right.
Important dates is what you're on.
Dates, what we need to know, and then also get everything, and please understand, if you want a copy of the slide deck, I'm happy to forward it to you, so you can chance to review it for yourself, but these are the dates which to remember. You're going to register with Bob Rogers Travel. There's a place to do that. We'll give you a tour number at the end of this meeting to get you all that information. Tour commitment forms all due December 1st, and a deposit plus the insurance policy. The $3 deposit plus the enhanced insurance are due December 8, sorry. By December 8, if 90% of folks have not paid to do that, we just can't go. We can't operate that way. By the way, Symphony Band and Jazz Band was the exact same process. We can't plan with not knowing what we're taking. There's so much work that goes into it in terms of instruments, rentals, hotel rooms, tickets for Les Mis, restaurants that we need to negotiate with. There's lots of stuff that goes into this, and we start writing checks usually in January 1, if not middle of December. So the reason we're asking for commitments from you, because traveling with a group this size, and there are two bands traveling potentially, there's a lot of logistics that go along with that, and so that's why we have these timelines. The other thing I will also have to be honest with you, it'll also depend on what kind of instrumentation people agree to go. And by the way, I've had this conversation forever. If Concert Band Purple decides to go, but I have one piccolo and two bass drums, we don't travel. Because one piccolo and two bass drums does not equate Pioneer Concert Band Purple. You can't really, Miss Little Force might write a song for that called Butterfly and the Bullfrog, but the reality is there's not a piece of music that we can transcribe that way and work that way, plus we wouldn't travel that way if we had that kind of instrumentation. So as long as instrumentation remains balanced, we can go with slightly smaller size ensembles, but we're hoping you see the benefit of what this means to your child and what this means to who we are. And by the way, Symphony Band has the exact same requirements. We have Symphony Band families that have heard the exact same thing every meeting we've gone to, okay?
All right. Next one.
All the papers there, so you can read all that. And by the way, Pioneer Band Association, which the president is here, we provide a stipend for everybody to go. Everybody, chaperones as well. So there are also scholarships available, and if there are families that are struggling financially, we provide scholarships. One of the things that Pioneer Bands do is write a lot of checks to make sure that we don't leave somebody home for something as silly as money. We do not ask for financial statements. We just want to make sure this is an honorable request for you, that you're not able to afford that, and we'll do everything we can to help. We don't tend to provide full scholarships. That's just we're not able to do that, but we do provide some. And please make sure you follow all the links that we've given you, and then we will continue to give you. All right, next.
Scholarships. Stipends.
Pioneer Band Association stipends everybody. So the Pioneer Band Association committed X amounts of thousands of dollars to make sure that the tour for Symphony Band and Jazz Band was less expensive. It's why we fundraise. We are going to do the same thing for Concert Band Purple. It's based on how the cost of tour and the percentage that they supported Symphony Band, Jazz Band, will be the same percentage that they support you all as well. Your tour is obviously substantially less than traveling to Europe, because that's $4,400 some odd bucks, and ours was far less expensive. But we agreed to make sure that you've worked so hard to make sure this is possible. We'll make sure that we spend the money giving it back to you and your children to make sure you travel. Yep. You guys know Barb Zimdar's president?
Hi, everyone.
There we go.
So regarding scholarships, if you're going to apply for a scholarship, that is due December 1st as well. There's a link to do that. Again, as Mr. Leach said, We are looking at quarter and half scholarships because we want to be able to help as many families as possible. With that said, if we also give out stipends, that does go to every child traveling, except if you got a scholarship. So that's really important, we want to know. Also, the other thing we ask is, when you start making your payments through Bob Rogers Travel, please do not pay in full, because if we do offer a stipend to you, and you've already paid in full, Bob Rogers will not refund you the amount of the stipend that the PPA will apply. We just won't be able to apply that stipend to your child's trip. So please, some people like to pay ahead, and I used to be one of those people, and this happened to me personally when my child first traveled. We were really great, we paid ahead, but we didn't get a stipend. So please don't do that.
Good. All right, moving on. So this is you'll also get copies of all the stuff. This is how you register for Bob Rogers Tour Travel. We'll send this to you once we get through our vote. You're going to go to Pioneer, you're going to go to you're going to go to Bob Rogers Tour Travel. There's the website that you go to. The trip code is AA Pioneer Band 24. And again, that's the policies that we follow. You'll be able to register a credit card or a debit card with that. And then apply your payments at the timeline that they're there, and you can have them all up to date. And with your payment app, you can take care of it and schedule it with your credit card, et cetera, et cetera. But that's all going to be there, and you've already got all that information. But this is how that process is. All right, go. Yes, please. So this is how you do that. We'll send this to you if we agree we're all going to go. So please, you can still take a picture of this, but we're going to send you the same document once we've all agreed to go. And that will come to you soon because we're going to vote. We're going to do basically a straw vote tonight. Once we have enough yeses, then we'll start sending out all information, which is due December 1. Does that make sense to you? So once we get kind of a straw vote yes, then we'll start sending stuff forwarding to you. All right, let's go on to the next one. And again, this is how it is. Now here's the issue. You must choose enhanced protection, not standard. We have some situations with the Symphony Band families who chose standard. We can't help you with standard. CFR, cancel for any reason, is only enhanced, and you get up to 24 hours in advance cancel for COVID. 40 hours, COVID, for all kinds of stuff. So please understand, the enhanced one is really important that you get that because we don't want you to lose. That's just not who we are. Oh, I did. You missed it. You're on time to get
He started
the
it.
COVID.
What he led with.
Yes. You also get a copy of this, by the way, you already do. It's everything that we've already sent you. So this document is already you received it through the newsletter this weekend, and I've been sending it to you for a while. But this just tells you the group that we're doing the insurance through called TripMate and how to get all kinds of information. Their certified numbers, everything goes on with it. This is the insurance company. Here's what it involves, and you get a chance to read it. You don't have to read this. You'll have a copy of it already in your inbox. Please make sure you read it carefully if you wish. Next. That's just more legal.
Legal.
All right, new to travel across the border. So this is as of 2021 or something like that. We have to have this document to present to customs when we cross. So this will also come to you. I'm just warning you, this is new for us. Because we never had to travel to Canada since this new document came to us. So this will also be in your world. You're going to fully take care of this. That you have to sign this in order to get your people have that and their passport or their certified birth certificate with the race stamp from the health department. Those are one of the two ways you get across: enhanced driver's license, passport. But you have to have your kid. If they don't have one of those two, must have a birth certificate and a photo ID. And the birth certificate must have the race stamp. I know I've said it 3 times, but you'd be surprised what you forget. Okay? All right, moving on. This is just more information that I'm not reading it all to you. We're going to send this to you if you want it. This is just about crossing an international border. What you're going to need to know, what your kids are going to need to know. So let me take 5 seconds to talk about crossing an international border. This is to the students, not to the parents. Please don't say anything stupid. A very good friend of mine was crossing the border in Detroit. And the kid says, yeah, I got a gun. They cleared the bus and made them sit at customs for 4 hours as they checked every piece of luggage. Kids, when the customs talking to you, be an adult. Answer only the questions that they're asking you. And don't say anything stupid. Because we'll leave you there. And we'll call your parents. Say, hey, there are customs at Blue Water Bridge, come get them. Right? Good. Any questions about that? Good. Because we will talk about rules and policies in a bit. All right? Cycle. Excellent. That's all motor coach, what we're going to do, how to get across the board. That's all coming to you. All right, Q&A. Let's talk about rules and regs. And by the way, we're going to have 2 more meetings before we leave. So this is not the only meeting. At one of the meetings, we'll talk about rules and regs, but suffice it to say, I have sent children home from not following rules. I hate it. I have had kids break rules the last day in China. And when we had to come back, I had to meet the parents after the bus got them to Pioneer High School and have a parent-teacher conference and deal with that. I've had to have kids go through drug rehab from band camp and have to meet with all that goes through all that. Children, please don't make poor choices. If you cannot go on band tour, like band camp, without drugs or alcohol, there is a 100% chance you already have a problem. So if you can't avoid it for 3 days, you are already an addict. Parents, please communicate with your kids about going into a foreign country and breaking rules, specifically laws like that. Yes, in the United States of America, in Michigan, and now Ohio, marijuana and stuff are all legal. And it is also legal in Canada, the entire country. But not for you! So please don't do anything like that when we're there. Alcohol, drugs, it's not the time. Oh,
That's a good. Can we? What can I show?
you can do
Oh,
that.
can I show? Okay, so other things. Just as recently as last year, not even 9 months ago, there was an issue with another touring group where a student was caught shoplifting. And they were literally being handcuffed and put into a police car going to a foreign jail.
Oh, are we right?
Yeah, I'm not kidding you.
And it wasn't told, by the way.
It was not told.
Cohen did not do that. Please do not think that's what we're talking about. She knows what's involved.
Now, and here's the deal. Mr. Glade was so great. He ran to the scene and he talked the kid out of it and got it taken care of and handled everything. I don't run.
I don't run.
I don't run. And I love your kids to death, but if that happens, you're getting a phone call from one of us. And it's not good. So,
We love your children. Please
Yes.
understand that. And those of you who have had interaction with us, know that.
I love your kids.
We want what's best for you and your child and for us. This is a huge risk for us professionally. Huge. And we totally get that. But your kids are totally worth it. And giving them an opportunity to meet professional musicians and meet collegiate level musicians and collaborate with kids from another country, I cannot tell you how miraculous that is. When we were in China, we got a chance to work with one of the American schools that was there. It's all Chinese students who are learning English. By the way, more people speak English in China than all the English-speaking nations combined. But it's fun to watch a school that was there. And we got to play ping pong, capture the flag, frisbee, whatever that's called, ultimate frisbee. And they got a chance to meet kids from a foreign country that was supposed to be people that they weren't supposed to like. And at the end of the day, they loved it. And they loved it, and they exchanged phone, some of them still talking. I was talking to some of my students over there. They still talk to the student they met in China, right? It has nothing to do with politics, it's just people. And when you get a chance to make people see people that way, it's much easier to be nice to people when you know there are people that are nice to you. So one of the reasons I love to travel is to show people how great your kids are. And by the way, your kids are mind-blowingly great. I want people to see how mind-blowingly great your kids are. They play better than most. And so I get a chance to show that and let your kids see that and to help people around them and show how great it is what we do in Ann Arbor. That's why we do this. So it's really important. We have also invited the principal who says if he's got time, he'll be there, amongst other things. So we've got lots of people who want to be part of this, but now it's up to you. Do you have any questions that you want to ask? Please hands in there. Seriously, I've answered every question. This is the best meeting ever. Go. 4 to a room, and the genders have to be what people all agree to. And everybody in the room and the families have to agree to it. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
You will have to agree to it. So if your child is gender fluid or non-binary or whatever, the 3 roommates all have to agree, and the 3 families of the roommates all have to agree that that's okay, they room together. Rooms of 4. In Europe, it's rooms of 2, but the rooms are small. But here there'll be rooms of 4. Questions about that? And by the way, like I said, everyone will have to agree to it. We will not force your child to be in a place that they're not going to, well, maybe you, but outside that, no. Go.
So, always said morning, what time are we waiting?
We're not going to tell you right now. Let's go first. No, my God, no. No, that's how much we can afford to pay for. If you're up at 5:30, I might even cheer you on to go running. But if you're up doing something bad at 5:30, which would be you, we would call you in. Your dad can be chaperone. Would solve all my problems. I need, oh, and one more thing. I need to have a minimum of 6 chaperones. We can't do it without 6 chaperones because Miss L and I, while we love your children, we will need some help. Right? We'll need some help.
No students will be left behind.
Like that.
Like
No, on that, when we do any stop, we do check for your students, like ad nauseum. It took us like 30 minutes one day at the Met in New York to leave because I kept making them do the counts because they kept coming up wrong. And I said, not until they're right, we can't go anywhere. And then before you know it, here come 3 students, 15 minutes late that I was waiting for because they were causing everybody to be late. So don't do that.
Yeah, we over the top count kids.
Yes, all the time.
And we do know of schools that will go unnamed that have left a student in a city.
Really? I'll just
I'm not putting anybody in the bus, but I'm just saying, you know, yes, we put the kid on our bus, yes, we got the help from, yes, we made sure they made it back to Ann Arbor City. But really, we're really cautious about that. I mean, listen, you have no idea the gratitude we feel that you trust us with your kids to do this. And we know the weight of what we're taking on. So we want to make sure your kids are accounted for. And we're kind of crazy about it. Go.
What do you do if a student or somebody gets sick on the trip? How do you handle it?
We'll have a room at the hotel that's there, and we will not be testing. And for a myriad of reasons, we're not going to be running testing protocols. If you live through COVID time, everybody here did, you know what that entails. So if you ask us to test, we will certainly test. We're not going to initiate testing, but once we initiate testing and it's positive, your kid's quarantined in that country until they go through the quarantine policies for that country. And then we have to figure out a way to get them back or you to them. Fortunately, Toronto's easy to get to. It's just up the floor too. But if a kid gets sick, we'll quarantine them out. And we normally have a doctor with us, and I believe we have a doctor that is considering going with us in another capacity. But if we have to, we'll utilize that. Go.
What happens during the quarantine? Where do you stay?
You'll be in the same hotel. You'll just be in a separate room.
Okay.
Is that you mean in quarantine? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be in a separate room. We put you in a separate space that you're safe. Okay. Those are all great questions, by the way. Yeah. And by the way, the same issues with Italy as well.
Yes.
Go.
What are the requirements going into Canada if one of the kids has to carry medication?
We're required to collect all that, and we're required to report all that, and we'll make sure everything gets back to them. We will have a doctor and a health officer with us. I believe the Pacella Blacksons will be traveling with us, but we'll find out for sure, and we'll have somebody that's specifically about medication. We asked them to go with us because they were our band camp health officers, so we like to have them go with us because they understand how to run all that. So they'll have every child will have to fill out a health form, and we'll be required to hold on their medication. And if it's supposed to be given to them by a doctor, we'll do that. We're not as tight about over-the-counter stuff, but we have to be able to make sure you have a signed document that if your kid doesn't carry it and we have to administer it, we have your approval. And by the way, we don't do anything without your approval. If something goes wrong and your kid has to go see a hospital, but we're in Toronto, they have a fabulous hospital system, right? In fact, the last time we were there, one of our doctors from Michigan was with us, and they went to Alexa, right? So it's a fabulous hospital system, and it's a Western hospital, so we'll take care of everything there. But we wouldn't do anything without your approval, unless we can't get your approval, and you'll sign a document that says we can do everything up to surgery, which we would not do without your approval unless it was life-threatening.
These things happen on this tour.
So folks, we have a tour coordinator who is one of you all who is going to be handling all of this paperwork going forward. Right now, all of the communication about the trip will continue through the Sunday Times like we've been doing until we vote yes and everybody is registered. After December 1st, the tour coordinator will just be emailing you all directly. So please help her out. There is 105 students across the 2 bands. That is a lot of paperwork that she's going to have to process. So please be cooperative. If she pings you for information, get it in on a timely basis. Communicate with her. She's there to be the liaison between you all and these two to make sure that this trip runs smoothly. So I'm pleading on her behalf to please help her out.
Question? Good. Go.
Is there a rough range that the stipend will
We do not know that yet. Let's find where we are finally.
What was the question?
Well, do we have a rough range of what the stipend would be? It's usually a couple $100. It's not like a substantial amount of money.
So stipends, we'll have a better idea in January what the stipends will be. It's all dependent upon whether or not this trip is happening. We have a set budget amount in the PPA to cover stipends for both of the trips that's happening across both bands. If this trip is happening, we have to spread the stipends across both trips. If this trip, you all don't vote for this trip, then we have more money to give to Symphony Band. That's just how it works, so. But we will make sure that this group is covered for stipends as long as vote yes to go.
So if we wind up not voting for this trip, is there a backup? Or is
No.
that it?
Yeah, no. This is yes or no.
Okay.
Yeah, the reason is, it's just, so the question was, I don't know if you all heard it, if we vote no, is there an option? No. We do the same thing with Symphony Band, which is we can't start planning tours now. Bus companies are sold out. Hotels are sold out. These things, you have to plan this far in advance. In fact, we're actually slightly late to the game. And we're lucky, I'm thrilled we have a downtown hotel because usually they're booked by groups. But that's a great question, but no, we do not have an alternative. We did once, I will say we did get invited to play at Symphony Hall in Chicago one year. Henry McKellar was a junior. And only 3 bands were invited, only 3 groups were invited to play at Symphony Hall, us, Huron Symphony Orchestra, and some amazing band down in Florida. And the kids go, yeah, we shop in Chicago all the time, we don't want to go. And they missed the opportunity to play in Symphony Hall in Chicago. Instead, they went to Cedar Point in the spring and played in the gymnasium. I will not do that. It was a bad decision. And the warm-up room was the wrestling room. The smell was wonderful. You can't even imagine. Wrestlers can. Wrestlers, where are you? My wrestlers knew exactly what that smelled like. Yeah, question in the back, not wrestling. Go. Yes.
Students are buying their own lunch.
Sometimes. The lunches that when we're downtown, yes, but we think we're working with Kitchener-Waterloo to make sure we feed the kids when we're in Kitchener-Waterloo on that Saturday.
So they're carrying Canadian dollars.
Yes, they should have money.
Canadian.
They can use a credit card or debit card, but yes. Canadian money is easy to get when we're in Toronto. If you have a 4-digit PIN, you can get money. If, by the way, if you have a if you have a credit union, your fees are waived. If you don't, you pay fees. But it's like, but yes, getting Canadian money is really simple. And I would advise you can buy it ahead of time. In Ann Arbor, most people know how to do that. But what I always tell everybody, once we get there, find an ATM and go get money. It's the most efficient way to do it. Anything else? Have your phone ready, go. Sorry. Sure.
What if I'd like to vote yes tonight, but there is a family reunion at the office, maybe that weekend would be my focus would be able to make it. So I vote yes tonight, I'm at 100%.
If you vote yes, you're not committing to anything until you start paying. So the question was, there's some other family dynamics at play. I'd like to vote yes because I think we'd like to go, but we may have an issue with the conflict with that weekend. What should I do? I would say vote yes, see how things go, and if we go, then we'll worry about them when we have to. This yes vote does not commit you to anything. That's why I don't put the deadline to cut off until December 8th when everybody's paid. Does that make sense to you? Yes? Yes. Good. Anybody else got questions? Phone's ready.